Welcome to the Morristown Unitarian Fellowship, our spiritually alive, radically inclusive, and justice-centered community. We are so glad that you are here with us, whether it's your first time, your 50th time, or there are too many times to count. If it is one of your first times with us, we invite you to email welcome@muuf.org so we can get you connected with a member of our hospitality team. Welcome to all of you joining us on this third Sunday in Advent, in which we honor the light of joy, and also the third day of Hanukkah, a joy-filled 8-day celebration. A number of our families, including mine, celebrate both of these winter holidays. Many of our members are part of multi-religious households, meaning that we participate in the religious practices of more than one faith tradition, either because of what we inherited from our families of origin, or because of our connection to significant others and their families, or because we have simply chosen to follow the wisdom of more than one faith. In fact, as Unitarian Universalists, the living tradition we share draws from many sources of wisdom and truth. Religious pluralism enriches our lives and widens our vision. A quick note about next week, December 20th. We will host our multi-generational winter solstice worship online in the morning, and you're all invited to join us outdoors in our front oval in the evening to participate in a solstice ritual, a spiral walk, and a fire communion. You can stop by between 4 and 5 p.m. if you want to have some light, and between 5 p.m. and 6 p.m. if you would like it to be dark. Today, the focus of our service is Hanukkah, which began at sundown on Thursday, December 10th, and will last through sunset on Friday, December 18th. We are in the middle of the third day, and this evening, the fourth day will begin. Remember, in the Jewish calendar, days begin when the sun sets and last through nightfall the next day. Let us open our worship by kindling the light of our flaming chalice, the symbol of Unitarian Universalism. It feels noteworthy to share that this symbol came into being during the Second World War, when the Unitarian Service Committee volunteers were engaged in a project of rescuing thousands of Jews from the Nazis and looking for a symbol for their work and their commitments. I invite all of you at home to join my family in this practice today and every Sunday. Please take your own chalice and candle, or bowl and candle, or simply a candle from somewhere in your home, and light it alongside of us. While we light our chalice, let's recite the covenant written by James Villa Blake together.
Love is the spirit of this fellowship, and service is its law. This is our great covenant, to dwell together in peace, to seek the truth in love, and to help one another.
Hi, everyone. Happy Hanukkah. I'm so blessed to be able to be here with you and to light the Hanukkah candles. We're going to light for the fourth night. Tonight, everyone will be lighting for the fourth night. And here's the prayer, which I've been saying since I was a little girl. We light, this is the Gadol. That's like big in Hebrew, the word Gadol. So this is the Gadol that lights all the candles. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam, asher kidshanu b'mitzvotav v'tzivanu lahadlik ner shel Hanukkah. And then, besides the latkes and applesauce that everybody has for the holiday, then you get Hanukkah gelt. And in Hebrew, 18 is lucky. So now that I can't be with my grandchildren, I sent them each $18. That's high for Hanukkah guilt, we call, or from grandma. So it was wonderful to share with you, and I look forward to being back with all of you in the meeting room. Have a wonderful holiday season that we're starting off with Hanukkah.
And I wish you the same. Have a healthy and happy holiday season.
Nelly, Nelly, Nelly Dadik, Bahanukkah, Nelly Adlik, Bahanukkah, Nelly Yair, Bahanukkah, Shirim Ashir. Nelly, Nelly, Nelly Dadik, Bahanukkah, Nelly Adlik, Bahanukkah, Nelly Yair, Bahanukkah, Shirim Ashir, Bahanukkah, Shirim Ashir.
Zella and Harry shared the central tradition of Hanukkah, lighting the menorah and saying the blessings. Who knows another tradition connected to this holiday? Yes, that's right. You guessed it. Playing dreidel. That is the word in Yiddish, or sevivon in Hebrew. There are different stories for how the game of dreidel began. It has certainly existed for at least hundreds of years across different languages and cultures. It's not particularly Jewish or Eastern European in nature. You'll find similar games such as totem or teetotum in England and Ireland, although it has now become difficult to imagine Hanukkah without it. One legend about its origins that connects the game to a story of resistance that is so present in this holiday goes like this. 160 years before the Common Era, what we think of as year zero in the Gregorian calendar, King Antiochus IV forbade Jews from practicing their religious rituals and customs. Imagine what you would do if you were told that you couldn't practice your faith. Imagine if we were told that we were no longer allowed to light a chalice. Some Jews resisted, and they used the game of dreidel as a cover. While they were doing things like studying and discussing the Torah or lighting Shabbat candles inside a room, a home, or a cave, they would station a few children or adults with dreidels just outside of that location. Then, when Greek soldiers were making rounds and came near, the group would start very loudly playing. When the soldiers arrived and asked what they were doing and whether it was a Jewish ritual, they could honestly say no. And slowly, they would begin to explain all of the instructions of the game. This provided a warning to the people inside and gave them the time to hide all of the evidence of practicing their faith. It's a fun little game that children delight in playing, as well as the source of a number of songs this time of year. We'll show you how to make a dreidel and how to play in your home.
Making your own dreidel is really easy. All you need is a square piece of cardboard and a small pencil. I'm also using a marker and ruler. First, draw an X from corner to corner on your piece of cardboard. Mine is about 4 inches, which is big. Then, write the Hebrew letters at the top of each side. Nun stands for Nes, which means miracle. Gimel stands for Gadol, which is big. Hey stands for Haya, meaning happened. And Shin stands for Sham, meaning there. Next, take your pencil and poke it through the center of your cardboard. X marks the spot. Finally, play a little dreidel.
Oh! Hi, I'm Asher. Do you want to learn how to play dreidel? I'll tell you. First, you need gelt or some other item and a dreidel. Gelt is a chocolate coin, but you don't have to use gelt. You could also use like marbles, pennies, anything that you have a lot of. You also need a dreidel. A dreidel is like a top, but it has different symbols on it. This symbol is called Gimel. For Gimel, you get the whole pot. A pot is what all the gelt or pennies or whatever you're using is. You get it all for Gimel. Hey, you get half of the pot. Shin, you have to put one of yours in the pot. There's a rhyme saying shin, 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 put one in. And then none, nothing happens. You don't get anything. Your turn's just over. Nothing happens. That's why it's called none. That's what I like to say. Now, let's play.
Who goes first?
You go first.
Yes.
Spin your dreidel. Quick spin.
Gimel!
Gimel!
I get it all.
You get all that. So now let's all put in one piece. Yeah. Okay. Now for me to spin. Whoa. That's a real curve. Yep.
Oh my goodness.
Hey. Whoa. Ah.
Let's see.
No.
Nothing. Let's see, my turn. Ooh,
What will
That's
she
a nice
Yay.
new one you got there.
I know, I made it this year. Let's see, what is that? It is hay, so I get half.
But look, there's an odd number. For an odd number, you try to split it almost evenly in half. So that would be 2 and 1 for 3. And then you get the bigger amount.
Cool, so I get 2.
But now there's only 1 left, so we all have to put 1 in.
one more in.
It's for 0 or 1, everybody puts 1 in also, not just Shin.
And Asher, how do you win the game? How do you know when you've won?
Well, there's 2 different ways. Either you stop at 1 point and whoever has the most
Okay.
wins, or you can go on until everybody has none except for 1 person. Everybody has no gelt except for 1.
And that would take too long, I think.
Well, I guess for now it looks like Daddy's the winner. We hope you all have fun playing dreidel and eating chocolate gelt. Happy Hanukkah!
Happy Hanukkah!
Happy Hanukkah!
Don't eat that gelt, Daddy!
Doubt is a big part of our faith. Many Unitarian Universalists identify as skeptics more than as believers. We don't tend to take things on blind faith. Rather, we test. We ask questions. One thing we are certain that we believe in is the scientific method. However, that doesn't mean we don't experience things we can't explain or witness things that are highly unlikely. We absolutely do. It doesn't mean that we always wait until something is proven to have faith. In fact, we Unitarian Universalists place a lot of faith in human beings' ability to make wise or righteous choices, even when their actions up to that point have pointed in other directions, even when we've been disappointed by them. We are sometimes even accused of placing too much faith in human nature. In addition, we may find ourselves wrapped in the face of profound mysteries or abundant beauty that allows our spirits to touch places we aren't sure exist. We may even feel ourselves deeply connected to the universe and awash in a sense that all will be well. Is that the presence of faith? Maybe. Yes. Is it okay for doubt to intervene? Yes, to that too. We have learned much as a species in matters of science and nature, art, history, and religion. Yet there is so much to discover, so much more that we don't know. Humility, wonder, awe, these all have a place in our doubt-filled faith. What about miracles? Do they have a role? Hanukkah spins on the axis of two miracles. One, the divine miracle of a cruse of oil, enough for one night that lasted 8 nights. 2, the human-made miracle of a small band of freedom fighters defeating the Seleucid Empire. Miracles are often described as events that don't seem to follow the laws of nature, or a lucky happening that once seemed impossible. What are the chances that oil would burn 8 times longer than expected? What are the chances that an empire could be taken down by a tiny group of rebels? Whether or not we believe in them, I will share that many of us pray for miracles or wish for them when faced with great adversity. And why wouldn't we? When our loved ones are hooked up to ventilators and the doctor's looks are grim, we pray that they will escape the end that seems all too near. The very reason that we agreed to their going on a ventilator in the first place was our hope that this near-death experience could lead back towards greater health. When we surpassed 350 parts per million carbon dioxide in our atmosphere, the level at which life as we know it can survive, we hoped against contrary evidence that human beings would change their ways. Even now that we have breached 410 parts per million, we continue to hope, pray, and act for restoration and renewal. In some sense, the fact that life arose in the universe at all seems a very unlikely, highly fortunate event, a miracle by religious and scientific standards. Is it then so strange to imagine that life will continue to take unexpected and surprising turns from time to time? As 19th century Unitarian minister Ralph Waldo Emerson once said, "I can believe a miracle because I can raise my own arm. I can believe a miracle because I can remember. I can believe it because I can speak and be understood by you. Let's look at 2 Hanukkah miracles in further detail to see if they might offer guidance in this winter of adversity that we are facing collectively. To some, the holiday is all about the oil. In fact, this is the sole focus of the telling of the story of this holiday in the Babylonian Talmud. It goes like this. When the Greeks entered the temple, they defiled all the oil in it. When the Hasmonean dynasty defeated them and they wanted to rededicate the temple, they could only find 1 jug of oil with the official seal Kohen, enough to last only 1 day. But a miracle happened and the oil lasted for 8 days. The military victory isn't described at all. The Maccabees move backstage and the implicit activity of God is center stage. Although there is some human activity in this miracle, it took a faithful human to light the lamp. What was in their heart when they did so? Did they hope and trust they might find more pure oil before the next day was through? Did they feel it was enough to offer what they had to make it 1 more day? Sometimes that bit of courage and hope can make all the difference. To others, the miracle of the holiday is about the Maccabean revolt and military victory. Antiochus IV rose to power in 175 BC. He is a king who fancies himself a god. In fact, he takes the name Antiochus Epiphanes, which means God manifest. Apparently, his subjects called him Antiochus Epimanes, which means the madman behind his back. In an effort to consolidate and increase his power, he wished to eliminate differences between the peoples in his empire. Antiochus created a number of prohibitions specifically targeting Jews. They were prohibited from observing Shabbat, reading the Torah, or being circumcised. They were told they had to eat pork publicly and worship other gods, probably including him. And death was the punishment for disobeying these demands. Some Jews in that period were already mixing Jewish and Hellenistic Greek practices together in their life. So many did follow what he ordered, whether or not they were pleased about it. When his soldiers reached the town of Modin, they demanded that Mattathias, a well-regarded priest, sacrifice a pig on an altar. Not only did Mattathias refuse, he killed another Jew who was willing to make that sacrifice, as well as the king's representative. He rallied people behind the cry, "Whoever is for God, follow me." Then Mattathias and his 5 sons fled into the wilderness to prepare for war, along with a ragtag group of farmers like themselves. They had very simple weapons compared to the mercenary Syrian army, but they fought with courage and sometimes cruelty, the kind of cruelty that is a part of war. And they did defeat the empire. This time, God moves backstage in the story, and the Maccabees and human activity takes center stage. This is made even more clear by the inclusion of a subplot about a group of very pious Jews who are worshiping in a cave on the Sabbath, who refuse to fight Antiochus's army. Instead, they stay praying inside the cave, and they are all slaughtered by those soldiers. What is at stake in this telling of Hanukkah is the role of human agency and human effort in bringing about a miraculous victory over tyranny and for religious freedom, for liberation. Maybe the answer of the role of miracles in faith and the role of humans in miracles are not as separated as these two retellings would have you believe. Perhaps that is why both of these stories have been told together and preserved for thousands of years. Rabbi Abraham Joshua Heschel said, "Pray as if everything depends on God, but act as if everything depends on you." Therein lies the answer. On one hand, there are many things that are out of our control. All we can do is hope and pray that God or some external force or external happening will unfold in our favor. On the other hand, we can muster the courage, creativity, and will to move in the direction that we believe will bring more light and more life into being. I believe that most things that we would name miracles in our lives happen because of both of these things. Things beyond our control and our human agency, acting in concert. On Hanukkah, the question might also be, what qualifies as enough to constitute a miracle? Or are we so busy staring at what seems ordinary that we miss seeing the miraculous, which is everywhere? Walt Whitman penned the following in one of his poems. "To me, every hour of the light and dark is a miracle. Every cubic inch of space is a miracle. Every square yard of the surface of the earth is spread with the same. Every foot of the interior swarms with the same." Even when faced with adversity of the highest order, miracles abound, even if they aren't perfect endings. As Chaim Potok shared in a story that he wrote about a Hanukkah from Auschwitz, a group of Nazi soldiers mocked Jewish prisoners by offering them a good holiday meal. They gave them one loaf of bread and a pat of margarine. In that moment, in that place, in a defiled piece of the temple we call earth, those prisoners put that margarine to its best use and made a small candle for Hanukkah out of it. They lit it and celebrated right there in front of their captors. In that moment, they set their spirits free. Hanukkah is the light of joy, liberation, and the holy, flickering even in the presence of death, disease, and despair. Hanukkah is the delight of knowing that a little can go a long way. Hanukkah is the reminder that miracles happen whether or not we believe in them, and mostly when we learn to believe in ourselves. When that spark is lit within, it cannot be extinguished, and it has a way of multiplying and lasting beyond all expectation. So happy Hanukkah, my friends, and let your light shine bright tonight.
clearly. When my heart with sorrow cries, comfort and caress me, and then my soul may hear a voice, a still small voice of love eternal. Darkness, when my fears arise, let your peace flow through me.
One last tradition to share that is very popular in my household. If you haven't ever tasted these, I hope you will soon. Potato latkes are made with lots of oil, a wonderful way to celebrate that miracle, and they're delicious, dipped in sour cream and applesauce with cinnamon. And now, in our going, may you be blessed by a light that can never be extinguished, by joy that can always be found, and by stories that lift your spirits even through the longest, hardest night. Go with peace, go with blessings, go and celebrate the miracle of this day.